Hello all, I'm Marin. Welcome to another reading vlog. This is going to be my first series spinner wheel vlog. Now, I was supposed to film one of these back in January in conjunction with a round of the Final Book Support Group. I filmed like a small portion of it and then never finished the video, which has been an ongoing problem for the past month or so. So this is my first official round of the series spinner wheel vlog series. My goal with this vlog series is, of course, to read series books and complete series before the end of the year, as I do have a goal to lower my number of unread series. I think I said 25 was the goal, and I'm at 35 right now. So I have a lot of series that I need to read. To gamify it a bit, we're going to use a random spinner wheel, and I have an actual physical wheel that I used to use for my TBR game. I figured it would be fun to bring it back for this vlog series, so that's what we're gonna do. So let me move the camera so you can take a look at the wheel, and then we're gonna see what I'm gonna be reading in this vlog. So here we go. Okay, here is the spinner wheel, the best I can get it into frame. I apologize, you can't see the whole thing, but we're just gonna be looking up here where the red arrow is pointing. I'm gonna go ahead and take you through the wheel and show you what series are currently on it. Let me see if I can adjust a little bit. Okay, we're gonna go through everything that's on it, and then we're gonna spin it 3 times to see what I'm gonna read in this vlog. So the first one that I have up here is my choice, which means I can pick any series book that I want. It can be a series beginning book, it can be a series finale, series continuation, whatever I want. Then we have Thief of Night, which is the next book in the Charlatan duology by Holly Black and will complete a series. This one is on my 2026 TBR. The next one I have is The Things Gods Break. This is book 2 in the Crucible series by Abigail Owens. The first one was The Games Gods Play. I read it last year and enjoyed it, so want to read the next book. The third one and final one comes out later this year, so would love to get the second one read so that I'm ready for the new release. Next, we have The Voyage Home. This is the third and final book in the Women of Troy series by Pat Barker. Swift and Saddled is the next book in Lila Sage's Rebel Blue Ranch series. About a Girl is the third and final book in the Metamorphoses series by Sarah McCarry. I read the first 2 ages ago, but these are like loosely based on Greek mythology, and I enjoyed the writing of the first 2, so want to finish that one. This one again is on my 2026 TBR. Then I have Everyone on This Train is a Suspect, the next book in the Ernest Cunningham series by Benjamin Stevenson. We have Dark Corners by Megan Golden, again on my 2026 TBR. Nancy Drew is on here because I need to read the remainder of the original Nancy Drew books. There were 56 total, and I am currently on number 47. So this would help me read one of those for this vlog and get that checked off so I can get through the remaining, I think I have like 10 left, so need to read those this year. The next one is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. The second one comes out later this year, and it's a big one, but I do want to get it read. It's again on my 2026 TBR. Then we have the Emily Wilde series by Heather Fawcett. I read the first one back in January and really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to continuing that series. The next book is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. This is the second book in her Spell Shop series, which are like companion standalone books, but the third one comes out later this year. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart is one that I have read but need to reread before I read the next 2 in the series to finish them off. One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune is the sequel to this book that I can't remember what it's called, but I read it last year and really enjoyed it. And then we're back at the top with my choice. So let me figure out how to do this camera a little bit better, and we're gonna spin for the first book. This is gonna be as good as I can get it, sorry friends. Also, it's raining outside, it just started, so if you can hear that, apologies. But anyway, let's do spin number 1. Okay, oh good. This one is a 2026 TBR book. We have The Enchanted Greenhouse, so let me grab it and we will read the synopsis. All right, this is The Enchanted Greenhouse. This came out last year. I read The Spell Shop in 2025 and really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. These are like cozy romanticies, I think, but this again is a interconnected standalone, I think. But it really doesn't have anything to do with the first one. So I believe you can read them out of order if you want to. But anyway, here is what it says. Elsewhere in the Empire, on a remote island brimming with singing flowers, honey cakes, and honeyed love, Turlu Purna broke the law because she was lonely. She cast a spell and created a magically sentient spider plant. As punishment, she was turned into a wooden statue and tucked away in an alcove in the north reading room of the Great Library of Elysium. This should have been the end of her story, yet one day Turlu wakes in the cold of winter on a nearly deserted island full of hundreds of magical greenhouses. She's starving and freezing, and the only other human on the island is a grumpy gardener. To her surprise, he offers Turlu a place to sleep, clean clothes, and freshly baked honey cakes, at least until she's ready to sail home. But Turlu doesn't want to return home, and as she grows closer with the unwittingly charming gardener, Yarrow, she learns the magic that sustains the greenhouses is failing, causing the death of everything within them. Turlu knows she must help, even if that means breaking the law again. This time, though, she isn't alone. Assisted by Yarrow and a sentient Rose, Turlu must unravel the secrets of a long-dead sorcerer if she wants to save the island and have a fresh chance at happiness and love. So the sentient spider plant played a role in the first book. I think it's a he, was pretty funny, actually, like very enjoyable character. So this one looks like we have a sentient Rose to kind of take that one's place as like the botanical sidekick, I guess. And again, we have like that grumpy sunshine-ish aspect, which was present in the spell shop. So I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to read it. So let's go ahead and get reading. All right, all. I am about halfway through The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. Now, this is the sequel to The Spell Shop, which I read last year, I believe, and really enjoyed. I gave that one 4 stars. So this one has a character that we learn the backstory of in this one, if that makes sense. So they are interconnected standalones, not necessarily straight sequels. So in the spell shop, we meet a sentient spider plant named Kaz, C-A-Z. And in this one, Kaz is the reason why our main character, whose name is Turlu, is punished. So in this universe, only sorcerers are allowed to cast spells. Turlu creates Kaz, or brings him to life, because she is very lonely and she has a hard time making friends. So she creates this sentient spider plant to be her friend. She is found out and she is punished by being turned into a statue that is then placed in like the library's main reading room as like a deterrent to other people to kind of remember their place and not cast spells if they're not supposed to. So that all happens in like the first chapter. Turlu wakes up on an island back in her human form, and she discovers that there is only one other person on the island, and that is a grumpy gardener named Yarrow. And Yarrow sent for help because he is trying to keep these enchanted greenhouses from, I guess, being destroyed due to a lack of magic, because the sorcerer that created them has passed away and he has left like no contingency plans in place. So all of the spells that he cast are like losing their magic. And as a result, the greenhouses are failing. So Yarrow sends a letter to Elysium. That's like the main city, island, something like that. I can't really remember. I think it's like a city. But anyway, he sends a letter asking for help because he needs a sorcerer who can redo the spell work on these greenhouses to keep them from failing. And instead, he is sent Turlu. He is given the spell to reanimate her, and she is now joining forces with him to attempt to keep the greenhouses from basically destroying themselves under this magical failure. So that's kind of the whole setup. We have a number of sentient plants in this one as well. So obviously this is just a thing that's like happening in this series. We have also been briefly introduced to the character that's going to be the main female character in the third book in this series, which is a sea change, sea of change, something. You're looking at the cover anyway. That one, we just met her in like the chapter that I just finished. So anyway, this is definitely cozy fantasy. At this point, there is no romance. Terlu thinks that Yaru is very attractive, but he has not really shown any interest in her as of yet because he is very much focused on saving these greenhouses and the plants inside of them because he feels very connected to the plants. That's his like niche. It's what he lives for, and he is more comfortable around those than he is around other people, namely because he has been the lone human on this island for a number of years because the sorcerer who created the greenhouses put some very stringent rules in place regarding who can and cannot come to the island. So we don't really know exactly why he was doing that, but that's kind of the setup. So basically, Terlu has now sent a letter asking Yaru's family to come to the island to provide him some support because he just cannot take care of all these greenhouses on his own, particularly with the magic failing because they're having to like very quickly get the plants out of the failing greenhouses and someplace safe. So there you go. That is basically what's happened in the first half of this. I do really like Sarah Beth Durst's writing. I think she has a very, I wouldn't say whimsical style, but she does a very good job of describing setting, giving vibes. Obviously, we're working with cozy fantasy here, and she does a good job of writing interesting characters. So I'm very much enjoying it, although I wouldn't say that I am particularly connected to anything happening. I should mention there is like an animal companion in this one. You can see it's like a winged cat, and the cat's name is Emerald. I think it's a boy. I think it was he. Yes, Emerald is a flying cat. And so we have a little bit of that fantasy animal companion thing going on. I want to say, yeah. So this one also has winged cats. That's just something that's like on these islands. And I'm very curious to see where this one is going anyway, because we're clearly setting up for, I guess I would say, a little bit of something that's going to move the plot forward with the fact that she just sent this letter to his family asking them to come. Now, Elysium has like fallen to a group of people who just wanted to overthrow the government because they didn't like how things were going. A revolution. That's the word I'm looking for. So perhaps that's going to play a role in this. I'm not really sure. But so far I'm really enjoying this. The audiobook is well narrated, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next. So there you go. That is a not very quick update on how this one is going. But so far I'm enjoying it. So let me get back to reading. Okay, I finished The Enchanted Greenhouse last night, and I really loved the second half of this. I'm giving this 5 stars. The second half really made me feel all the feelings. I really grew to love Terlu and Yaru and the supporting cast of characters, many of which are sentient plants. So 2 in particular play a little bit of a larger role. We have Lottie. She is the rose that was mentioned in the summary. And then there is a philodendron that also like becomes, I would say, a main-ish character. His name is Dendy, and I just really liked them. I just feel like these books are so gentle, so cozy, and they just give me precisely what I want a cozy fantasy to do. So I just had a really good time with it. There is a portion towards the end of this that made me tear up, and I would say in order for this to have its correct emotional impact, you do need to read this after the spell shop, because otherwise you're missing the connection to the character of Kaz, the sentient spider plant. So I definitely would recommend reading them in order. Now, reading the summary for the upcoming third book is a little interesting because I'm very curious to see where it fits like chronologically with this one. Because as I said, we do meet the FMC in this book, and the MMC is also mentioned in this book. But when we again meet Marin, who is the FMC of the upcoming book, she mentions that Dex, who is going to be the MMC of that book, like, has left her. Not like relationship wise, but like he's gone to like a different place or whatever, and she is still sailing on her ship. So I'm very curious to see how that book is like gonna fit into the timeline of this one. I'm also not really sure what her ultimate goal is for this. I don't know how many books she's planning on writing. If this upcoming book is the last one, I hope she does something to like bring all of the characters together. I would really love for them all to meet each other, but I don't know if that's like her ultimate goal or her ultimate plan. But for me, I feel like that would really kind of bring things to a good closure. So I'll be very curious to see what all she's planning with this series, but I am going to continue to read anything she writes in this series because these books just give me the precise feeling that I want from cozy fantasy / romantasy. There is more romance in the second half, obviously, and I quite liked the banter between the two main characters, and I really just liked watching their relationship develop. So this was exactly what I was hoping it would be. 5 stars. Would highly recommend just this series in general. She has written so many books. I definitely want to go back and read a little bit more of her backlist. I have actually read this book, which is Vessel, and I gave it 4 stars. Now, I read it years and years ago. I think I actually had like an e-arc from NetGalley of this one, and I really enjoyed that one. So I do want to go back and kind of read her backlist, but definitely I feel like these books are like her niche, and she's kind of found like where her writing really thrives. So anyway, really loved this. Really glad this came up in this vlog. So that's going to close out the Enchanted Greenhouse. Let's now go back to Past Me and see what we will be reading next. Okay, I need to replace that one. I have a bunch of other series books here. I'm gonna just mix them up and randomly choose one to put on the wheel in that one's place. And then we will spin again for book 2. So let me kind of shuffle these up a little bit. These are a mix of, again, finales, continuations. Most of them I think are just continuations and actual start of series as well. So, okay. I've kind of shuffled this pile up. Let me hold this one. Oh, okay. This one is the start of a series. This is The Surviving Trace. This is like a romance series. I've had this forever and haven't yet read it. So let me stick a little Velcro thing on it and we'll put it on the wheel. Okay, just put that one there. So now let's do spin number 2 and see what the second book for the vlog is going to be. Okay, again, this one is the second book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. It is Swift and Saddled. So again, let me grab the book and we'll read the synopsis. All right, here is Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. As I said, I read the first one last year and liked it. It was not my favorite, but I did give it 3 stars, and I was intrigued enough to continue the series. These all have the same characters in them, so they are interconnected standalones that I think work better if you read them in order, but I don't know that for sure. Anyway, this one is focusing on the brother of the character that we met in the first one. Now, what I really liked about the first one is there was no third act breakup scene, so I'm really hoping maybe that's a thing Lila Sage does, because I really get tired of third act breakup scenes. So anyway, we'll see how this one goes. Let me read the synopsis. This one says, she's the city girl who refuses to be saddled with a man. He's the cowboy who wants her anyway. The last thing Ada Hart needs is a man to take care of her. Not anymore. After After failing out of her interior design program and the disaster that was her short-lived marriage, Ada has clawed her way up from rock bottom. Now the only person she trusts is herself, and that has gotten her further than ever before. She has her own business, and one of the largest ranches in Wyoming just hired her for the most important project of her career. Now that ranch is going to be Rebel Blue Ranch, obviously. When Ada arrives in Meadowlark, she finds herself in a dive bar where she can't seem to shake the eyes of a handsome cowboy. When she leads him to the back of the bar, he leaves her with a kiss that most people could only fantasize about. She almost regrets that she'll never see him again, except it turns out he's her new boss. Weston Ryder is a happy guy, even happier now that the mystery woman from the bar is the interior designer for his dream project on his family's ranch. He feels like he's hit the jackpot. Too bad she wants absolutely nothing to do with him outside of work. Ada is convinced that the pull she feels toward Wes will go away, but Wes can't stop thinking about her. Even though walls are coming down around the Rebel Blue Ranch, Ada's walls are firmly in place. Can Ada and Wes make it through this project without giving in, or will they both put their dreams on the line for a chance at love? Which of course they will, because it's a romance. But anyway, okay, that's this one. Let's get reading. Okay, I have actually finished Swift and Saddled, and I'm giving this one 4 stars. I quite enjoyed this one. I liked it more than the first one. I felt like the writing was a little bit more smooth. I felt like with Done and Dusted, you could tell it was her first book. So this one, definitely the writing is better. These are very easy, quick reads, palate cleansers, if you will. It is a cowboy romance, obviously, but I would say that this one had like a decent amount of depth going on, particularly with Ada's character. Ada is coming off of a divorce to a not very nice guy, although we don't get a ton of the backstory there. She is very much trying to rediscover who she is, what she wants in her life. She's working to live the life that she's always dreamed of, basically. She is helping our MMC Wes rehabilitate an old house on the ranch's land. So that's basically how they meet. Sparks fly pretty much from the moment they lock eyes, which is always nice. But Ada is holding Wes like at arm's length. She is not interested in a relationship because she did just get out of this other relationship. So there's a little bit of that to work through. And Wes is basically a cupcake character. He is just a really good, sweet guy. And I really enjoyed reading from both of their POVs. Also, the audio for Done and Dusted was really bad, in my opinion. The male narrator, whenever he would voice the female character, it was terrible. It was so cringy. I had to read that one physically. Thankfully, this one had totally different narrators, so I liked this one a lot better. And I got through this one pretty quickly in a single day over the course of 2 listening sessions, basically. So if you're looking for very simple, easy to read, quick cowboy romances, this would be a series worth checking out. None of them are particularly long. This took me a little over 4 hours. I think it was like 4 hours and 5 minutes to get through, and I had a good time with it. So I'm giving this one 4 stars. This was a nice little quick read in the midst of this vlog, and that's gonna do it for my little summary. I did enjoy it, would recommend the series. I do recommend you read them in order though, because this one I don't think would work as well if you didn't have the first book already like in your back pocket. So just a little side note, even though they're like focusing on a different couple each book, I still would recommend reading at least the first and second one in order. So anyway, now that one's done, which means it's time to go back to Past Me once again to see what the final book for this vlog is going to be. So once again, I'm going to mix up the cards. We'll see what is going to go on in that one's place and pick the final book for this vlog. So let's shuffle a little bit. Okay, and we're gonna pull the one off the top, which is, oh, this is very helpful. Okay, Glorious Rivals. This one is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is one that I need to read. It's on my 2026 TBR. Neither of those other 2 were, so very helpful. Okay, let me put this one back on here and hope that we're gonna land on one of the ones that are on the official TBR rather than ones like these that are not. So anyway, okay, let me put the little Velcro thing on here. and then we'll give it a final spin. All right, spin number 3. Let's hope that it is one from the 2026 TBR. Everyone cross your fingers. Here we go. And it is not. Okay, that's all right. This one should have been read years ago, so I guess it's only fair. It's the one that I just put on earlier in this vlog. That is The Surviving Trace. Let me grab it and we'll read the synopsis. All right, here is The Surviving Trace. I believe this is indie published, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even self-published. Riley read this one in a vlog ages ago, and the way she talked about it, it really piqued my interest, which is why I picked it up. This is the first in a trilogy, but I only own this one, so this will be the deciding factor, obviously, on if I read the rest of the series or not. But let's go ahead and read the back. I know this has something to do with time travel, so here's what it says. Will is my fiance, the shy man I met years ago in college, the person I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with. This is the life I've always wanted until finding a picture of 4 men changes everything. Etienne says he's my husband and the year is 1912. He can't stand the sight of me, but I don't know why. Oh, and he's one of the men from the picture. I've done the impossible and have become trapped in time, and I know Etienne is my key to going home. The more time I spend with Etienne, the further I fall for him until I'm questioning which time I belong in and if the life I left behind is the one I truly desire. All I know for certain is I need to survive time, I need to survive love, and I need to make it out on the other side alive. So there you go. That's this one. I tend to really like time travel books, but we'll see how this one goes. This one is chunkier. It's the chunkiest book that I'm reading for this vlog, so hopefully I will enjoy it. This one has 445 pages, so that's a lot for a romance, but without further ado, let's get reading. Okay, I am a little over halfway through The Surviving Trace, so I wanted to go ahead and do like a midway check-in. I'm on chapter 22. So I've already read you the synopsis for this, but basically we are following Serene. Serene runs an antique shop with a friend of hers. The friend brings in a box with some things, some items in it. And in the box is a photograph of a group of men, one of which we learn is Etienne, who is the main male character in the story. Etienne is from the past, I don't really know, I can't remember the year, but it's early 1900s. And somehow the photograph is a catalyst to send Serene back in time, where she meets Etienne and they fall for each other. So in the part that I've just read, they give in to the sexual tension between the two of them. They have sex. And a couple days after that, Serene gets flung back to the present. So where I'm at right now, she has just woken back up in the present. And she is now trying to navigate that because she had just told Etienne that she did not want to leave him. She wanted to stay with him. And of course, a couple days later, she's thrust back to her actual own time. So at this point, she obviously wants to get back to him. This is the start of a part 2. And we've also gotten a couple of chapters from Etienne's point of view. I was kind of glancing through, and we have a couple more POV chapters from him coming up, but mostly this is from Serene's point of view. So this is a well-written book. I'm liking the story. There's also like a mystery element going on with something to do with Etienne's business and maybe like a hidden ledger that's like hiding, I don't know, budget stuff maybe. I don't really know. That's not been fully fleshed out yet, but Serene has left the ledger for Etienne to kind of discover and potentially see what's happening there. We're not fully like fleshed out with that yet. So I would say that that's like an underlying thing that's happening in the background. But for the most part, we are definitely just focusing on Serene and Etienne and their love for each other. So the whole book is basically about surviving time and keeping their love like intact. So that's kind of the whole summary. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm loving it, but I do think it's well written. I'm finding the premise very interesting, and I do like the characters a lot. There are also some side characters. Etienne has a brother named Livingston and a sister named Natalie, and Serene has become very good friends with Nat, so I liked that aspect of it. But yeah, it's going well so far. I will admit, I did not read this at all yesterday. I kind of took a break from just reading in general. I've been reading a lot, trying to get through some books and things before the end of the month. And so this one I kind of set to the side, and I really didn't feel like any compulsion to pick it back up. When I am listening to the audiobook, I'm engaged and I'm enjoying it, but there's nothing really like pulling me into the story and making me want to pick it up outside of that. So yeah, it's a fine book. It's written well. I do think Calla Reed has a good writing style, and she's doing a good job of bringing the characters to life. I'm just not fully personally invested in the story. So I would say that that's kind of my overall thoughts so far. I have this much left, and I'm hoping I can finish this today while I am at work. So the bulk of this vlog took place over my spring break. It is actually Monday. I am now returning to work. So my goal is going to be to finish this today, because I'm a little past the time when I wanted to get it read, but hopefully today I can get it read. I think I have 2.5 hours left according to the audiobook or something like that. So I should be able to get it read while I'm at work today, because I have my plan time, my lunch, etc. So we'll see. But yes, that's kind of my overall thoughts. It's fine. I'm enjoying it when I'm reading it, but it's lacking that pull to make me want to pick it up when I'm not reading it, if that makes sense. So yes, so far so good, but I wouldn't say that I am fully engaged with the story as of yet. So I have heard that the ending is a cliffhanger, so we'll see what happens, but I will let you know full thoughts once I have finished the book. All right, I've finished The Surviving Trace, and I am giving this 4 stars. I felt like the second half of the story did a better job of like really engaging me. There's a lot going on in the second half. So I mentioned that our main character, Serene, gets sent back to the present. So it's mostly Serene trying to get back to Etienne, but there's also chapters from Etienne's POV, which I really liked, kind of just letting the reader know what he was thinking, what he was doing, and how he was feeling, basically. So I liked those inclusions. There were a few more of those in the second half. And then we get a bit of a twist at the very end when it comes to Etienne's business, and there's a cliffhanger ending because it's setting up the second book in the series, which I am going to read. So I'm officially adding this book to my series TBR, which is not great because that means instead of taking a series off, I'm adding a series, but you know, it is what it is. So I did really like this one, and I would recommend it. I felt like the writing was very good. She does a good job of setting the scene for the book. She's very good at the description of life in early 1900s Charleston, South Carolina, and just kind of good with the overall vibes, I guess is how I'll put it. I'm having a hard time like putting my thoughts into words, but I did really like the way that she writes, and yes, this was a winner. So I'm glad that I've read it. Even though it's adding a series, it also gets a book off of my TBR that I've had for a really long time. So this book was actually released, let me see, I think it was 2018. So it was released in 2018, and then there are 2 more books in the series. So it is a trilogy. There is a spin-off series, which I don't know if I'm going to worry about that one. I think I just mostly want to focus on Etienne and Serene's story. But yes, I enjoyed this, would recommend it, and I'm glad that I gave it a read. So that's going to conclude this vlog. 3 books read. Unfortunately, not a single series finished, but that's okay. I at least have caught up with the Enchanted Greenhouse, so I'm ready for the new release. Continued a series, obviously, with Swift and Saddled. 2 more books left in that series. And then, of course, started a series with The Surviving Trace, and I'm adding 2 more books to my TBR, inevitably, because that is a trilogy. So, 3 books down. I did replace The Surviving Trace with, let me grab it, The Spies That Bind. So this is like, I don't know if it's like a prequel to The Gallagher Girls by Ally Carter, or I think it's a prequel. I'm not counting it as part of the series. Technically, I've already completed the series because I read all of the main books, but I do have this little audiobook. So this is what's going to go on the wheel in place of The Surviving Trace. So I will start the wheel on this spot. Let me go ahead and just do it right here. So I'm going to put this back here, and that's where we'll start. So we'll start right here with the next round of this vlog series, which I believe I'm doing in May. I cannot remember now, but I'm pretty sure it's May. That's gonna do it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me. If you made it to the end of the video and would like to leave an emoji to show you were here, you can leave a clock emoji in honor of the time travel elements in The Surviving Trace. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.